sponsored by Planet Celtic.
How you doing, folks? Welcome to the 4-Leaf Clover post-match reaction to Celtic to CFCO 3. Not exactly a result I don't think any of us could see coming, to be quite honest with you. Let's start with the starting lineup. There was word that Calmac could possibly be injured, and as it turned out, that was the story. Trusty was out as well. So we've seen, quite surprisingly, Narovski coming in. I think we certainly spoke about it on Friday about Narovski, that he's not been put out to loan or anything like that, so Brendan must have some idea that he could come in and do a job. As it so happened, he had to do that due to the situation defensively. Big Scales being out as well. And obviously the captain being missing in the middle of the park, I don't know if that had any bearing on the result of the day, if that was going to make any difference or no. But certainly I think, before the game started, we were all positive or certainly up for it. They had played during the week and actually went to extra time with penalties, so we were thinking that maybe physically they'd be a wee bit weakened. As it happened, they certainly didn't look that way, certainly not in the first half. But I can remember this happening before, and I can't mind how long ago it was, but I'm pretty sure that they'd played extra time in a tie, might have been a cup game, I can't remember, maybe a European game. And they came into the game, they looked actually quite energetic, which was surprising. So they certainly looked up for it. We didn't. I think it was an absolutely terrible start. But we've seen this before. I can mind Neil Lennon doing this against them as well. Straight for the kick-off, right down into the corner. It just so happens to be the corner that their best player on the park is situated. Not at any bearing on the exact point where the ball goes out of play, but it gets the ball up the park and out of their danger zone and kind of stops us from even getting a fit in the ball. As it turned out, they scored in the 3rd minute. After the 3rd minute, it was Raskin, actually one of the smallest guys in the park, that manages to get a glancing header in, and before probably any of the players really get a fit on the ball, they're 1-0 up, and it really kind of changes your it certainly silenced the fans. I think it was a wee bit of shock. I don't think MD was expecting that, but I'll just get through some of my comments here. Since I'm myself, we can get through it together. Not ideal, to be quite honest with you. Oh, there's old Scotty. All right, mate. Enjoy yourself.
Come on, boys, in my beer!
Scotty's out with his pal.
She'll last, not the last of all. And the prison ships sailed out across the bay. For she lived in hope. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because we're still the champions. Love you all, man. Andy, legend. Love you, son. Love you. Hey, love here. Yes! Yes!
Right, we'll mute his mic now, and we'll let him go on with that. Get back into the comments here. He says he might come on. I wasn't sure if he was going to come on or not, but obviously he's decided to come on. He's obviously enjoying himself with a few babies, and his pals are visiting him, so he's up in my beer, enjoying himself no matter what. And I suppose that's the attitude to have. Chris Fraser for Houston, good to see you, my man. Frank Kennedy, embarrassing. Aye, it is. Aye, I think obviously if you're looking at this game in isolation, you're looking at the last game at Snake Mountain, and you think we're not going to put another performance in like that or get result going against us like that, especially at home. We've lost so many. We've not lost a lot of goals at home either, so it was very surprising the way the game actually finished up. Michelle, yep, we're all sad, pal. We are all sad. Fourth time in 6 derbies, they've found the net on 3 occasions. And a third time in a row, Brendan Rodgers needs to rethink his setup in these games. I think 100%. Brendan's got to take. He's got to take his medicine. I certainly didn't see this happening. No, for a second game against them in a row that they've scored 3 goals against us. So that's something I've got to kind of look at. All right, you can say it's a makeshift defence, but I saw somebody else there. I'll try and find the comment, and I totally agree with this comment about Big Rocky. One of the best on the pitch. I think he was the best on the park, to be quite honest with you. Neil David, Macbeth, 100% agree with that. For a guy that's hardly played any football, coming into a team that he's not really been part of in recent times, I thought he'd done really well. Yep. Bad second half for CCV. I think overall, let's just stick with the first half now, because I think it's important we go this. The fact that we were way off it, I think a lot of they pressed us really high. I think they were quite intense, and I don't think I was expecting the intensity to be that high for him, just energy-wise. But obviously, he's wee ball cuts had his say with him, got them riled up for the game. They were very physical, I thought. They certainly put themselves about. We need to toughen up as well. We can't say, oh, he kicked me or whatever. We need to be tough. We need to face up to games like this and challenges. So I think we need to be stronger as a team. I certainly said maybe a couple of weeks ago, certainly when it comes to defence, I want to see a kind of Bobo type player in there, somebody that takes no nonsense. He certainly the way Brendan plays, he wants his defenders to play passing football, be able to pass it out. I'm very old school, where you want your defenders to defend and give the ball to somebody that can play a wee bit with it. That's my aspect. So I think overall, looking at the first half, we were very poor. And then in the 37th minute, Diamandi, I think it's Raskin, actually knocks on the header to him. He's in the box himself. There's no doubt about him, man. CCV's at, he's between CCV and AJ. And incidentally, I think AJ had one of his worst games I think I've ever seen. I thought he was really, really poor today. So none of them get to him. Diamandi goes in, it's 2-0 up, 37th minute. And it's no great for Celtic's point of view. Even at that point, we were very poor and way off it, especially when it comes to passes. Even the second ball, nothing was coming out, it was bouncing off. It was going to their players. We weren't picking up any second balls at all. The passing was way off. We just didn't look on our game at all. But I was still confident that we had the ability to really kind of try and make a difference in the second half. So we get into the second half, the first half finishes. In fact, just before, maybe the last 10 minutes of the first half, or just maybe 5-10 minutes, I thought we really upped our game a wee bit, looked a wee bit more dangerous. So that was pleasing to see that we hadn't totally put our heads down. But we get into half time, we're 2-0 down. Brendan's obviously got to get him in the dressing room and try and do something, try and work something, try and change something. I just want to say this about some genius. I know. Listen, hindsight's a great thing. What I don't get with Calmac, the situation with Calmac, was he played in the kind of the previous 2 games, but was obviously taken off. And I think if there was a doubt or Calmac, should they have played in the 2 games? Should they have wrapped him in cotton wool to actually play in this game? And that's obviously the manager's decision. do you think that's part of the problem today is the fact that the captain wasn't there, the leader in the middle of the park, somebody who's very experienced in this fixture, especially. He's a winner, he's a leader. I think he's obviously a big miss when it comes to experience in these games, but we've also got other players who are experienced in this as well. So we should be able to manoeuvre our way about Celtic Park. In this game, we've got plenty of talent in the team. I don't know. I just really wasn't expecting such a bad performance, especially in the first half. I think that obviously different coming out in the second half of change. Ida came on, took Kuhn off, who again was anonymous. I think he had a very poor game. Did Kuhn. So he brought Ida on, try to change it, try to put a wee bit of physicality up there. I don't think Ida had a huge part in the game when he did come on. I've got to be quite honest with you. But we got a goal back with Maeda in the 48th minute, so no long after the second half started. Across the jaw, he done really well to get to the byline and get the ball out. Maeda gets actually beats two Rangers defenders to head it into a goal, and then you think, right, game on, we've got plenty of time to get back into this game. And I think we actually did improve in the second half. I thought Rangers, as much as the high pressing was in the first half, I think they almost kind of gave us up until the halfway line. You could see Carter Vickers and Nerowski, but that's all we seemed to do was kind of pass it between us and AJ. And at times AJ was getting the ball. Looked as if he was scared to go forward. If he did go forward, he was losing the ball. So the fear factor came in there, I think. Normally you see him scooting up there and really committing to going forward. That didn't seem to happen today. But I thought we had really upped the tempo. And then the goal, our second goal came with Hatate. It was McCowan. It was a great ball to Hatate. And he just turns on the ball and he almost kind of passes it into the net. And I think at that stage, you might think different. I thought at that stage, there's only going to be one team winning here because we're really up to ante a wee bit. But it didn't turn out that way. They brought on Igamani, a guy who's maybe his goal tally's kind of dried up a wee bit, but he's always dangerous, always a dangerous player. And when they scored that third goal, 87th minute, AJ slips. And I don't know what CCV to him and Rocky, but particularly CCV didn't deal with the danger there. And Agamani just finishes it. We still had about 5 minutes to play after that. In fact, it wasn't that, it was 8 minutes to play. There was about 5 minutes added on time. So you still think there's maybe a chance he's getting something out of this game. I suppose a lot of people would have been happy at a draw, obviously, before they scored the third. I think overall you wanted it. If you couldn't win the game, at least don't lose it. But really, really disappointing. But for the positives, and that's true. I totally agree with that as well. They seem to win the midfield anytime against us now. That's something that's got to be looked at. I felt very comfortable that as much as I think Cal Mac's important to us, I think we've got guys in there that we spoke about it, saying that Engels can cover for him in that position quite comfortably, and he has done in the past. So, yep, I think absolutely disappointing day. Right, I'm going to bring this up, right, because I have said that shit. But they've beat us today. So, and they weren't fantastic. I think they done the basics right. I think they done their pressing right. We were just weren't on it in the first half. Unfortunately, a lot of damage was done in the first half when you're 2 goals down. We managed to get it back, level terms, but you're losing a goal that late in the game. It's game over, I'm afraid. It certainly looked like it anyway. But I suppose the positives are that we're still 13 points ahead. The league's done. and we can be happy with that. But it's a whole Barry Ferguson thing. They're getting through next round in Europe. They come to us, they're beating us in our own patch for the first time in I don't know how long. But I think absolutely gutted with it. But still, we'll still be absolutely fantastic chance of lifting a treble at the end of the season. So technically, a lot of these games can be forgotten about if you're winning a treble at the end of the day. It doesn't really matter when it's coming to the destination of the league trophy. But really, really poor performance by Celtic overall, I think. Let's go through some of the comments here. Yeah, talking about McCowan. Yeah, totally agree. Aye. Let's go through the comments here. Try to catch up. Aye, that was what we're supposed to Rangers today, jumping on mistakes, riding their luck, and winning the game. Absolutely, I think they were very, very physical, but they were quite alert to our mistakes, and we did happen to make a lot today. As I said before about the passing, I think when we did try and zip the ball about a wee bit, it was getting played far too hard. It was bouncing off his shins, bouncing. Now the players couldn't control it. I think a wee bit more composure was required today from that point of view. Yeah. There's Warner. You seen Warner. Feel gutted. Never want to lose to them, especially at home. Now I have to listen to my hun brother. Listen, he'll need to listen to you end of season, so you'll get out it quick. Believe me. We've been through situations like this before, and we can be doom and gloom, but we're still on for a treble. They're going to win absolutely hee-haw. Might get bragging rights for a day, that's about it, but look at the bigger picture. So it meant to be positive a bit. Strange love for Doctor. Just on, Celtic were fucking terrible today. I'm sick of the back teeth with Brendan's football. Give me Ange any day of the week. Fuck this. Yep. I think you look at the season overall, I think it's worked out well for us. The football, at times, it has been turgid, I suppose, when you've got that horseshoe going on at the back. It's even when the game went on a wee bit, it was getting towards the end of the game, and you're like, they just seemed very passive, like really kind of afraid to try and get the ball forward. It's not the Celtic we're used to seeing. And the last thing you want is aim to think they've got something euros. Do you know what I mean? Like a kind of monkey on their back with them. That's 2 games in a row now that they've beat us, and we've not been on a game at all. Brendan spoke about the last game, saying that they stole our game. And I think the way he was talking, he was determined not to let that happen again. And it has, because they pressed a lot better than us. Their physicality was better than us. And at times we did play no bad, good cutting kind of passes and stuff like that. But ultimately, it simply wasn't good enough. So, it's really hard to come on here after these games when you get in. To be fair, we don't do it a lot. We don't come on here after a lot of defeats. We've not lost a lot of goals at home. So the fact that we've let them score 3 against us, Kasper, I thought had an absolute nightmare at first half. An absolute nightmare. A guy who's normally very cool, calm, and his distribution is normally spot on. I think it was way off it. It almost put me in mind of the ghost of Joe Hart. When it comes to panicking, no getting his passes correct, taking too many chances and kind of tight areas, trying to get passes through, no reaching the player. Severe lack of understanding with the player that he's trying to pass it to. A lot of the times, you were looking at that saying that if they actually played together before, they looked like strangers. But I thought the shining light for me today was Big Nerowski. And I know it's hard to say somebody had a good game when you're losing 3 goals and he happens to be a defender, but I don't think he was really at any fault for any goals we lost today. I think he done himself certainly no harm for being considered in the future. And I think there's a reason why Brendan hasn't actually put him out to pasture somewhere else, on loan somewhere. I think he's maybe seen something in him, maybe certainly as a backup. I don't think any seen that Big Nerowski was going to have to make an appearance today. I certainly didn't see it anyway. So that was a bit of a shock. But fair play to him. I think he stepped up to the plate and he done his job well. For me, that's a bit the only shining light. Maida getting injured towards the end. It was a hellish tackle. I can't mind who it was that went to tackle him, but his knee actually hit Maida's, and I don't know if anybody that's played football has had this happen to them, where the opposition player comes in with their knee and it catches the inside of your knee. It actually makes you physically sick. So it can be a really sore one that he's took. Yeah, you could see towards the end of the game. I actually turned it off because I didn't want to see all the stuff that was going on. But when a knee catches you in the inside of the knee there, it's absolutely, it's murder. And you could see Maida limping off at the end there. So I hope he's all right, because we know how important he is to us. Right, let's get through some more comments here. I think so. I always thought that I think Trusty's a half decent player, but I think he's a bit soft. He put me in mind Big Julian. I think Julian was that as well. He's a kind of physical player, big guy, but I think he's very weak at times. The only problem I've got with Nerowski is he's liable to get injured quite easily. I think he's had a pretty poor record when it comes to getting injured. But whether a run the team's going to help him, I don't know. Trusty will come back in for sure once he's fit. But it's good to know that the big man can do it. You know, I think we spoke about Nerowski saying that he hadn't had enough time on the park, and it's hard to judge a player when you don't really see him that much. So, aye, kind of happy enough with him. What's the most they done in 2 weeks? Aye, I know. I wouldn't be surprised. I actually wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. Get the international break, didn't we? Aye, I thought we looked. We didn't look as if we were the team that had the rest. And as I said before, sometimes that can go against you when you're kind of thinking that a team's going to be lacklustre, talking about them, because they'd have done their extra time and their penalties, and you know, and it was only like 3 days ago. You think they're going to be tired, but they certainly didn't start that way. Aye, I think Brendan's got a lot to look at when it comes to these fixtures. You know, when Barry Ferguson's in charge, you know, he spoke about nothing, toilet walls and doors and whatever. They were very physical. You could see a difference in them. Physicality-wise, they weren't scared to keep the fit in, let us know that they were there. I could see that happening. I actually thought they would have targeted Maida earlier on in the game and maybe took a hit with an early booking just to try and get him injured, as it so happened that it happened a wee bit later in the game. Not that they weren't trying. There was quite a few attempts there. The evidence was clear that as much pressing as they were doing in the game, they were certainly keeping their fit in. We've seen that in the European game as well. There quite a few players booked in that in that game as well. So that's influence for Barry Ferguson. And you can see that they'll go, oh, he's a tactical genius and all that. You know, it's absolutely nothing to do with that. You can see every opportunity. Barry Ferguson is spending half the game turning around asking everybody else what we got to do here. You know, so it's no him. I think collectively as a group they've managed to come up with a way to get a result at Celtic Park today. We don't see it very often. I don't think we will see it very often either. But I'm probably more concerned at the fact that they have get the better of us in the last 2 games. So I'd actually picked 4-0. I think a few boys had picked 3-1. Certainly didn't see a draw or a defeat. Certainly not a defeat. And I think the majority of the fans are going away from Celtic Park today really disappointed with the as much as you want to look at the bigger picture and saying that, listen, the league's done. It wasn't going to have a dent on us lifting the league trophy. I think it's always it's not a great day when you lose against them. Where are we going? Michelle, 10 fouls. Aye. Yep. An early goal. I think, you know, that can make a big difference. We spoke about it in Friday's pod as well. Might have been me or Pat, I can't mind who it was, had said that I think the way you start the game really says a lot about the way the game's going to go. So that's a Polish sirens gone already. You just know what's happening in a deal like this, don't you? What actually happened at the final whistle where the Rangers dugout? I seen somebody saying it was it water that was splashed at the fans or something like that. Because it kind of cut away. They obviously never showed you it. But they saw the aftermath and the fans were going after nut. Was it Cherny that scooshed a bottle of water at the fans or something like that? That's when you know that they can't even win with dignity. Never mind lose, you know. So I'm no surprised for that. Mark Keenan, disappointed fucking agent, as we all are, mate. Yes. Huns being Huns. Exactly. Yep, they can't change. And we spoke about that, having nets up. There'll be seats wrecked in there, even though they've won. They'll wreck seats, toilets, a whole lot. So they will never change. Bad losers, worst winners. Yep. Just animals. Well, we know that. That's why we call them animals in the Celtic song, because that's exactly what they are. We're supposed to put them in their place today. It was us that got a reality check. Yep. Again, we said that. I think we've spoken about that in the past, saying that if Celtic turn up and do their job, then they can't deal with us. But we didn't turn up. You can't. It's very hard to judge another team when your team doesn't turn up. So it's obviously going to make them look better. I'm not saying that they didn't deserve to get what they did today. Obviously they did. They scored more goals than us. They took their chances. But we certainly didn't. We didn't do enough today. We were really, for the home team in this fixture, I thought, really poor. Way off it. No good enough. But I won't dwell on it. It won't get me down for too long. I think come tomorrow, I'll be with it. In fact, I'm even getting people on Twitter coming back at me for Barry Ferguson clips I put on. And that's the only time they turn up and come out and say something at times like this. Other than that, they're hiding. These are faceless people that you never actually see any other time. Whereas we're still here talking about it. We're still on. We're not hiding. We're still talking about it, calling it as it is. We as a fan base have underrated them. Is the boss doing the same? I don't know. The thing is, we spoke certainly Brendan spoke about the last fixture at Snake Mountain, saying that, you know, they were that far ahead in the league that maybe they've took their eye off the ball. We just so happen to be even further ahead in this tie. But you think that they weren't going to have that attitude again? Maybe it was. I don't know. But we certainly tried to get back into it in the second half. So it was not as if we just kind of, well, that's it. You know, we're 2-0 down. What's the point now? The league's won. So we've still got that fight. And what did you think of Yang when he came on? I think I'd like to have seen him on earlier. I think he's very bright. I think he gave the ball away a couple of times, but I think he's an exciting player. He's always a player that goes to attack. He never looks to pass the ball back away. I think he's always trying to be positive. I think I'd like to have seen him maybe on the park a wee bit sooner. Maida as well, they kind of try to nullify him. Obviously keeping the fit in certain situations. But I think particularly the way they pressed us. And I said it on Friday, I would love to have seen us just knock the ball out there midfield. You know, they're going with 5 in the midfield. So they're going to pack that midfield. And us try to play through them, it just wasn't happening, especially when they're doing the high press. And then later on in the second half, they were a wee bit more subdued, quite happy to sit kind of further into the air part of the pitch. So it gave us even less space. So not only could we not play through them, but we couldn't play over them either because it's so congested. I think we really struggled a wee bit with pulling them to create space. That's down to us. That's down to us to create the chances. I thought the movement as well for Celtic was pretty non-existent at times. Really kind of quite static. Let's see, that's about Yang since I brought him up. Yang was all right, showed some skill, worked hard. But to be fair, Kuhn was worse than a man down in us. And let's be honest, I don't think it's the first time this season that Kuhn's, for a guy that was tipped to be player of the season, recently he's been pretty poor. I think particularly today, he wasn't good. He really was. I've got to say, Jota wasn't either. The only time you really seen Jota is maybe the last 5 minutes of that first half. So, and actually, this is the first time that I've noticed Jota when it comes to his physicality. Looked quite slow at times when he was going down the wing. He was getting snubbed out quite easily. Couldn't shot it today. I think he did. Yep. There was something mentioned. My missus told us about something. I didn't even see it myself. She told us about a problem with Kuhn or something. I think it was some kind of site or something. I think it was clickbait. But apparently, it was some kind of problem with Kuhn, a personal issue. But I don't know how true that is. You know the stories that go on just before these games come up, all the nonsense that spoke about. I wouldn't be surprised if it was an article in the Daily Record, no name. Michelle shot her out. I think his nose has been put out of joint a wee bit. I must admit, and the fact that Midas stepped up to the plate as well and done a fair bit of business. Maybe his nose is out of joint a wee bit. Doing things started. Aye, maybe. I think he struggled at times a wee bit. Sylvia Duffy, gutted. Even a draw would have been good. I agree. They kept things the same as well. Nobody likes to lose a game, especially against them. I would have never taken Jota off. He certainly improved in the second half. I think Ennie's done fantastic in the first half. Got to be honest with you. Clean smoke. We'll have to get paid 20k a week. Decide not to put the effort in. I agree. Absolutely. Ida or Aganami. Well, he's certainly done the business for them, hasn't he? Why did he not start the game for them, though? He's come off the bench. Certainly get the match winner, that's for sure. That's always a positive. Excuse me. Physically, that's the difference. He needs moved in the summer. Aye, I think he's one of the players that has a burst of performances and then he dies off a wee bit. He certainly, I don't think he really influenced the game at any point when he came on today. He never done anything to, and I think that's why he was brought on, just as a wee bit of physicality in there. I don't think he really done anything, to be honest with you. Still question marks there, Reader. I think we're always going to have that, but we're so used to having strikers that are score plenty of goals, even for the wings this season. We've had plenty of goals, but particularly with Kyogo leaving, Dyson stepped into that mark. Ida was probably rubbing his hands when Kyogo left and nobody else came in. They thought that's my opportunity, and then he puts Maida in there. And we could have done that because Jota coming back as well, so it freed up the chance for Maida to go through in the middle. Top quality striker. Yeah. I don't know if any of you saw the interview with Maida before the game when he was asked about his future, and he says, "Oh, I'm not sure about that." I don't think I'd read too much into that. We've still got him under a long contract, and it's got to take a hell of a lot of money if anybody was to come in and try and take him off our hands. He's irreplaceable for us, I think. Although he had a quieter game today, he still scored a goal. Never replaced him. That's true. Yeah. He does fault he's not a dangerous striker. 100%. I mean, I have got a bit of sympathy for him. He should be doing better. It's up to him, to take any chance he gets to try and take it, and make that striker's position his. Get a grip, 100%. PTSD from going to games in the 90s. Yes. Aye. That was a tough thing. I think it's hard taking results like this overall, and we keep going on about it. Look at the bigger picture. Most successful time in the club's history. So, but it's still hard losing to them, no matter what. Kun you're talking about there, green smoke, aye. Aye, yep. Aye, that chance for AJ right at the end. Normally you'd bank on him kind of putting that away, but again, I think it was his it was one of his worst performances for Celtic, AJ. So it was on the cards that if a chance did come up for him, he wasn't going to bury it. It would have been superb if he did, though. Take it in the chin, you move forward. Aye, absolutely, that's what we do. Anyway, took that enough of your time. We say Dundee beating Dundee United just shows everything. Right, yep. What was that about the board there? Need a board change. 20 years is too much for the current assholes. It always seems to come up at times like this with the board. I think overall, the 20 years I've done a pretty good job, as much as I think they're Tory bastards, but I think business-wise they've done well. I think when it comes to fan relationship, they're absolutely clueless. What happened with the GB today? I seen I think it was on Facebook, I seen them getting held at the Celtic Club in London Road, and did they not get in? Or what was the problem there? Did they decide not to go in, or were they held back, or refused entry? Does anybody know what actually happened? you can let us know in the comments. Because I seen that obviously the big gap where they usually stand. I don't know if the policies had anything to do with that, with stopping them going out against Stadium. I don't know what I suppose we'll find out in time, but just in case anybody knew what was happening with them. I'm probably glad they didn't go in and watch that today, to be quite honest with you. What's this? Police refused both GB. Really? So I the two of them. All right. Held back with the post. That's shite, isn't it? Wonder what's happened. It's made that. Made the coppers. They can't wait for opportunities to hold these ultra groups back though. They seem to be paying them in a lot. I've seen it at the Gallagate as well, where they've got them penned in. Won't let them move up the street or nothing. They were shocking. Apparently their players throw water at the fans, hence chaos. That must have been what happened at the end with the Rangers dugout. It was Cherney, was it? I've seen somebody saying Cherney. I thought it was maybe Ferguson who'd maybe said something right at the final whistle, but or was it? There's somebody else saying that Barry. I don't know if it was Barry or Cherney that sprayed the water at the fans, which is just pish, innit? Just bad losers, even worse winners. At a goal. Stopped and searched them. Aye, Cherney it looks like. Aye, it's lucky he didn't get fucking lynched, to be honest with you. Aye, no doubt. Cherney was laughing about something in the dugout. Aye, I actually caught that. So that was after the incident. So he's obviously done something to rile the fans, and then obviously he knows that the fans can't get to him. That's why he's having a wee laugh about it. But Kaiser, thanks all. Hard watch there, bro. No trophies won or lost, but that's last 3 games they have outplayed us tactically. Whereas elite level management, they have one trick. I agree, and I've actually really backed Brendan, and the fact that he has showed that he is a good manager, especially in Europe. We can look at having some kind of progress there, some kind of light at the end of the tunnel. But I do agree when you're getting when you're Brendan Rodgers and you're a team that's managed with Barry Ferguson, a guy with basically no managerial pedigree, is getting out fought at home when you're so far ahead in the league. I suppose Brendan has got to take a fair bit of responsibility here. What did I see now? Tagged you in a video sharing it. Soaking fans. I'll have a look at that when I get off. Thanks for that. At the end of the day, like, they're going to win nothing, so they can come on to our podcast. Not the fact I'm surprised I've not seen any of them on this. Usually they make a wee appearance. They must be too busy out celebrating their victory at Paradise. But they're not doing any celebrating at the end of the year when the trophies and they're giving it. We're sitting with a treble. I had a feeling they'd win today, but I think it was a jinx. At 2-1, said to my mate, even if we get a second, they'll score again, probably a Gamani within 5 minutes to go. You should have put a coupon on for that. If that's the way you were feeling. Obviously you don't want to bet against your own club, but you might have been on to a fair whack there. Kaiser. He was, yeah. Well, I don't think any's predicted that he thought he would change, but he actually did. we could see that he was wanting to change things there. Yeah. It does, aye. I know I keep going on a bit of bigger picture, but it certainly does matter. It could be, you know, it's not going to have an effect on where the title's gone, but you certainly don't want to lose any games against them. More than just football. Absolutely, it is. It's life, innit? It's what we're all about. Yeah. Yeah. Playing for a cause and a people. You know, it's different times now because you've got players, foreign, a lot of foreign players that don't really know culture of the club or the background of the club. You guys like Jota that maybe take it on board a wee bit when he goes to Brazen Heath and wears the bumblebee tab and embraces it a wee bit, but I think you've got that many foreign players as well that don't really, they're just there to play football. They don't really know what's really behind. That's how I was quite surprised that Ferguson's had such an effect when it comes to the way he used to play. Try to keep his feet in like that, put his foot into tackles and rile them up. That staunchness, because I really didn't think with the amount of foreign players that they've got, they would actually take any notice that he was saying. But he certainly got them up for it. Warner, I don't have stuff bragging rights. Hard as it is, it's the end of the season that matters. 100%. I said that, but it's still, you still want to beat them. You don't want to be beaten with them, especially when it's you've proved you're the best team in the country because you're so far ahead in the league. But the fact that the head-to-heads are the way they are, you know, recently is it's push. Has Brendan spoke yet after the game? Does anybody know what he's said about it? I'm not interested in what Barry Wilcott's got to say. Usual push for him. But it'd be interesting to see what Brendan says. If he's got any excuse in the bag, ready waiting. Slaver and cabbage. Served by a rebel treble, not a football match by a club that's just done 13 years old. Anton Rober's left foot. Too drunk to care. Good on you. I'm actually got to work tomorrow, so I am not drinking. I actually had a chance of getting a ticket for the game, but I had to go somewhere to pick it up, and I just didn't have the time to get there and get back and get to the stadium and get to the game, so I had to let it go. There's Kaiser back again. They're good out of possession. Built to play Celtic. I think we really struggle with high presses and stuff like that. I think we panic at times, which is really strange because seeing you look at that performance in Bayern, where we were under pressure, but we looked very composed on the ball, very comfortable, and we passed it about well. That's the frustrating thing, that we can deal with pressure. And we looked pretty comfortable, and we carried a threat that night as well. It's just such a kind of change in a team, the way they can play like that against Bayern, and then the team, know that they're Bayern Munich, but when you're getting pressed like that, we almost, it's like a panic button we press. We don't look comfortable on the ball at all. Definitely struggle with a high press first half. Certainly first half, absolutely no doubt about it. We did. I think the second half we dealt with it a wee bit better, but I think they fell off us a wee bit. I think they backed off us a wee bit in the second half. They picked a moment. I think overall in the first half they were high pressing a lot of the time, and I think in the second half they were quite happy to let our centre backs have the ball because they couldn't play over the top of us and they couldn't play through us because they stifled us in the midfield. Far too many bodies about. So we need to, well, not us, but Brendan Rodgers has got to figure out a way to combat that. That's why he's paid the big bucks. That's why we class him as being an elite manager. But if you're getting outwitted by Barry Ferguson, it does not look good. See. Cheers, Maestro. That's all they do is stifle. They do, but they're very good at it. Yeah, well, that is a high point of the season. All you need to do is look at the celebrations after the game. They're a club that look at the here and now. They don't look at the bigger picture. That's been a problem. That's been a problem as a club as well. They're absolutely dying to knock us off our pedestal, and it's going to kill them again. Even though they're going to get this major boost for the fucking 49ers, whoever they are. It's not straightforward, is that? Sarah, how do you say your name? Is it Hawken? Apologies. Celtic in the first half are just collective ball bags, and something needs to change with this fixture. Brendan should never be getting beat with a third-rate wanker that gets sacked from a Diddy team. Oh, brilliant. What a comment. Superb, but absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. I can ball bag Barry out with Brendan. That baffled me. We're all baffled. We're all absolutely baffled. But maybe this will work in our favour. Maybe they'll give him the job full time. And eventually, you know, they're riding the crest of a wave a wee bit, I suppose. As I suppose any kind of new manager come in and they get that wee boost. So maybe it will work out, they will get the job and it will benefit us in the long run. But we need to make sure we do our jobs. We certainly didn't do it today. We never done our jobs today. The players didn't. The manager didn't. We need a buyout and new owners, and we really do. Maybe I don't know how I feel about that. That's when you really start getting down overspending and getting yourself into trouble. As far as I'm aware, we've not got any debt. If we have got debt, it's very little. So I think they've done a good job in keeping us as a business. I know we're a football club, but that is a business. They've got us on a pretty secure platform when it comes to finances and stuff like that. They're very good at transfer business and running a club. Nobody wants to hear that because it's boring as fuck. What really matters is how much success you're getting. And we are getting that success, so you can't moan at that either. The odd game here and there, you're going to be disappointed because shit like this happens, doesn't it? But I think the signs have been there, certainly against them, that they seem to have not the tactical nous, but they know how to combat us and try and stop us playing. And again, I'm going to say it's up to Brendan to really figure out a way to get around that. A couple of months ago, no one here, but I can see Rodgers leaving at the end of the season. The board will not back him any more signings. Well, I think, you know, we have backed him. We bring in players. I really don't know. I don't know. I say that's got to be one of the main priorities. Would be, in fact, definitely two priorities. Would be make sure me dad doesn't go anywhere, and make sure we keep a hold of Brendan. I think he's got work to do, but he's certainly proved he's not a bad manager. but who's he going to go to? Like, you know, who's he realistically going to go to? Like, if anybody thinks that Brendan Rodgers is going to leave Celtic, where's he going? What's that? We've got KT. I thought Sloop actually done very well the day. I've liked him since he's come in. I actually thought he could have filled in at centre back today, but Big Rocky had a good game. But I've said that, I think, excuse me, he's the type of player that can play anywhere, Big Sloop. Obviously, you're going to have KT coming in the summer, and he's not going to play every game. Certainly going to his injury record. I don't think he's going to be capable of doing that. We don't expect big money signings in, and I do support Rangers. It's the board. Fair dues, feed the bear. Not seen you for a while, mate. Hope you're well. Needs to invest this. Actually, back to as far as we can. It's fucking unacceptable. Aye. I can see everybody's point, to be honest with you. I think also you need to remember we're directly after a defeat against the Rotten Mob. Emotions can get really, and I'm really bad for it, to be honest with you. So I'm surprised that I'm so calm on here, because I fucking hate him, and I hate losing anything against him. It's very hard to let your emotions no get to you. It's difficult. But again, I'm looking towards the end of the season, realising we're actually in a fantastic position. Good man. We spent 20 million players, justified our price for first team place. Aye, again, you're looking at Adam Mida at 9 million, and it's really easy to compare him to like somebody else, you know. What is it money wasted? I think time will tell. That's obviously somebody that Brendan wanted in. He's a guy that identified him in the first place when he came on loan. But he couldn't get a game for Norwich. But it's not as if he didn't come in and didn't do a job for us. He done very well in the time he was here, and I suppose that's the reason why you're buying him. The evidence is there that he can do it. Okay, it's all good. I'm already over it. Troops, I'm off for something to eat. Take care. God bless all your champions. Good guy, Andy. Cheers, mate. Enjoy the rest of your day, my man. Aye, who's going to replace Rodgers? That would be my question. Then it's another system to get used to. We've went for Ange, the kind of heavy metal football, to a more composed passing for the back, try to move teams about, whereas Ange just went for a jugular. Hell for leather. I must admit, I do miss that at times as well. There's times in that game of day where certainly passing it between the back four, far too much for me, instead of looking for the forward pass. Wee bit of bravery now and again can I get on. I've got absolutely no problem with somebody making a mistake if they're trying to be positive. And when they end up they're being negative and they're losing the ball, and it's putting us under pressure. I hate that. I would rather lose it, try to be positive than negative. Choice at Paddy's Day when it comes, everyone. Same to you, my man. Same to you. Right, I'm going to shoot off now. I think I've took up enough of your time, but thanks very much everybody that's come on to join us here. So sad as it is, we'll call it a day. But enjoy the rest of your Sunday if you can, and happy St. Patrick's Day tomorrow. Still go enjoy yourself. As I said, I'm working tomorrow, so I won't be going anywhere. We'll be back on Wednesday for our Wednesday podcast. See what the boys have got to say. Jerry's at the game. So's our Paddy. He's there with his grandson. So they're travelling back to Ireland. Jerry's back down to Ayrshire. They'll be back on Wednesday. We'll have a wee chat about it, a wee bit of time to think about it and process it a wee bit more. And our Scotty should be back on as well if he's sobered up by then. But thanks again, everybody, for coming on and joining us, and I will see you later. He will.